Ooh, didn't know if my microphone was going to go in then. Right, let me just set this tripod up. All the things I should have done before the video started. Right, I think that's good. Right, welcome back to another Facebook Live yoga class. I hope you're all having a fantastic week. I hope your weeks have been good. I hope you found some time to do some yoga or move or just enjoy the sun, because it has been lovely this week. So today, got a cracker of a class for you. We are going to be working on our jump throughs. So when I say jump through, I mean jumping into seated from downward dog, and it's something you see in Ashtanga, which is the style of yoga I'm trained to teach and that I practice myself. It's something you see a lot. Now, jump throughs aren't a posture in themselves, they are transitions. So they're how you move from one downward dog to another posture, and then there's a lot of them in the seated sequence of Ashtanga, but they're not postures, they are transitions. And I want to make that really clear, because it took me 5 years to be able to jump into seated, and it may take you the same amount of time, it may take you even longer, or it may never happen. Now, I have taught a couple of people who get it on their first go as well. So this is something to be mindful of, because they are not essential. You can go your whole life without doing a jump through or a jump back, which we're not going to have a look at today. We will do another day. But you can go your whole life without jumping through or jumping back, and it's not going to make you better or not better than somebody else who can. Does that make sense? So don't get caught up on jump throughs. They're nice if you practice a lot, and they're nice to have, you know, obviously. They're great fun, but if they never come, if they don't come today, just roll with it. It's something that takes a bit of time. They're transitions, not postures. And I really just wanted to say that straight away, because I know how frustrated I got when I was going through my sort of like jump through journey. It ended up really winding me up, and it was only when I stopped being so obsessed with doing them that naturally they started to happen. So a couple of things that can also affect whether or not you can jump through is actually the surface you practice on. So if you are practicing on carpet, that's going to make this a lot more challenging. Funnily enough, when I started to practice on wooden floors, when I moved my yoga space, they came a lot quicker. Alright, so I just wanted to preface the whole video saying that, so don't get too caught up on it. Another thing with jump throughs is there's so much going on. So what we really need to focus on is making ourselves as teeny tiny small as possible. We need to make ourselves into a very compact, squidged together ball, and we need to make ourselves as small as possible so we can swoop the body through the legs. So we're going to be working a lot with our core today, and with our hip flexors, adductors, which are on the inside of your thighs. All these muscles are going to help bring the knees in so you can curl up into that very tiny shape. Another thing that we need to focus on is shoulder strength. Now, when you come into your jump throughs, you need to take all of the weight into your hands and shoulders. Your hands have to act as feet for the briefest of seconds. So we really do need to work on getting the weight forward into our shoulders so that we can, you know, hoik ourselves up, turn into a little ball and swing the body through the legs. So this might not make any sense, but it will do as we move through the class. So they're the sorts of things we're going to focus on. If you've got an injury, you need to consult your doctor before doing this. We don't need any props today, but if you have got super tight hamstrings, because we will be starting off with a bit of a hamstring stretch, then you need to just make sure that you have a strap handy. All right, so with that said, I think we're ready to begin. So come to your mats. Oh, I feel like I covered everything quite succinctly then. I'm just going to move my lamp out of the way a little bit, all right? So come onto your backs and just find a comfortable lying position. I don't mind how you want to lie. You can have the legs straight, knees bent. You can bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall out sideways if that is your jam. Either way, hands a little way away from the body, palms facing up. And we're going to start how we always start, taking a few deep breaths, bringing the attention into the room and just trying to tune out any distractions. So practicing at home, there's a lot going on. There's pets, there's children, there's partners, there's noise, but just for this 1 hour, see if we can focus on our yoga, see if we can focus on what's going on in the present moment, what's happening on the mat. And we've got quite a few sort of like complex technique things to have a look at, so we really want to see if we can get that focus now. Give our bodies the attention they deserve just for this, well, always, but especially for this class. Alright, we'll begin by just slowing down the breath, so steady inhales and exhales, deepening the breath but finding a rhythm that's sustainable for you, so something you can maintain throughout. Breathing through the nose if possible. And just taking a small opportunity to slow down. So deep breathing has a very calming effect. So just letting go of what's happened today, forgetting about what you've got to do later. Okay, and then once you've found that slow, steady rhythm, just take your attention around your body, check in, see how you feel. So any areas that feel maybe a little bit tight, some tension, and then just see if you can really let everything go. So muscles are totally relaxed here, not engaging anything. Shoulders rolling down into the mat, legs are heavy, feet, if the legs are straight, naturally falling out sideways. Okay, just taking a couple more moments here. Okay, lovely. So open your eyes. If your eyes are shut, we're going to bring the knees together if the knees are apart, and then we're all going to take a cat stretch. So lengthen the legs down the mat, point the toes, arms overhead, just make yourself as long as you possibly can here. So really feeling that full body stretch, fingertips all the way down to toes. You may feel an arch lift in the lower back. And then paying special attention to the tops of your legs, your hip flexors. So we're going to be doing a lot of strength work today with them. So lengthening them out first. And then exhale, just hug your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side and make circles. So keep the back of the head on the floor and then use the hands around the knees or the shins to guide the legs. Squeezing the thighs in towards the tummy as you roll. Undoing any tension that may have built up in the lower spine. Okay, and then bring both feet to the floor. So we'll start gently. So extend your left leg down the mat. Work the left toes back towards the body for the calf stretch. Left toes face the ceiling and ground down through the left calf. Then take hold of your right shin below the knee. Inhale here, then exhale, just gently squeezing the right thigh back towards the tummy. That right foot can be relaxed. This is a simple posture, but it's going to be really important when we come to the jump throughs. So we're trying to, bearing in mind, make the body as small as it potentially can. Don't know what I'm saying. Small as you possibly can. So it's going to be really important to see if we can draw the thighs as close to the body as possible. Now we're using the hands to help us here to begin with. Trying to close the gap between the right thigh and the tummy. And feeling that stretch groin, top of the right leg. And then just keep the breath steady. So simple posture, but still quite a lot going on. We want the shoulders to be rolling down into the floor, the chest to be broad, and the chin tucks in towards the chest ever so slightly so the neck is long. Got some gentle pressure to ease that right leg back, but any discomfort in the knee, you can relax the posture a little bit. Keeping the breath steady. Okay, and then exhale, just release the right leg, straighten the right leg down the mat, give your legs a shake and we'll change sides. So right leg straight, right toes pull back, ground down through the right calf if possible, and then take hold of the left shin. Big inhale, then as you exhale, squeezing the left thigh back towards the tummy. Trying to work on eventually closing that gap. Stretching into the left hip flexor, left quad. And you may feel this in your groin as well. So one side might feel a bit different, so just make a note, not judging, just checking in, building that body awareness I go on about all the time. Really important. And then keeping the upper body quite relaxed, so keeping the back of the head down, shoulders down. Okay, and then exhale, release. Straighten the leg, or take another cat stretch. Point both toes down the mat, arms overhead. Make yourself as long as you can. Your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. Again, making those circles. I always like the beginning of these classes. I just feel like they're very relaxed. Just for the first like 5 minutes, we have a relaxing time. It's going to be a strong class today, so just enjoy these postures. Okay, and then take the feet to the floor. So this one's less relaxing. So if you have super tight hamstrings, you might want to grab a strap, dressing gown cord, belt, or something similar. We're just going to work into the backs of the legs and the core a little bit. So we're going to leave the left knee bent, left foot on the floor. We're going to take the back of the right thigh, and then as you inhale, just extend the right leg up towards the ceiling. Okay. And then really work those right toes back towards the body. Shoot up through the right heel. Still try to keep the shoulders down, chest broad, neck long. And that left foot is just resting on the floor, so we're not pressing down too heavy in it. Okay, so feeling that stretched calf and hamstring. Every exhale, if it's appropriate for your body, moving the right toes higher above the face, but not at the expense of the leg bending. Much more important to get that leg straight than yank it back. Also, you know, if you're pulling the back of your head off the floor and the shoulders are coming off the mat, use a strap or something. Doesn't make you, it doesn't make you worse than someone because you can't take the back of your leg yet. That's not a problem. So using what you need to use to make this a little bit less gnarly. Nice, slow, steady breaths. Okay, a few more moments here. Just see if you can get that right leg a little bit straighter. Maybe work the right toes back a little bit more. So really sort of working towards your edge. Okay, lovely. Then on your next inhale, left leg straightens down the mat. So bringing the groin into it now. So now both legs straight, both toes pull back, and then see if you can ground down through the left calf. So if your groin's tight, that left calf might want to lift, but just see if you can push it down. Maybe using the right leg back a little bit more. Keeping the chest broad. And then leg shake is normal. So if your leg is shaking, don't worry about it, just roll with it. Now if it's all getting a little bit too much, feel free to have a rest, but if you have the hamstrings for it and you fancy it, you can deepen the posture by taking your hands up towards the calf or the foot, but just make sure the back of the head and the shoulders stay quite relaxed. Again, you don't want to be trying to like poke your eye out with your toe if it means the upper body is super, super tense. So we're not using any muscles we don't really need to use. We're conserving energy, being intelligent with how we practice. Plus, if you've taken your hands higher up the leg, it's just going to make the next step harder. So you kind of dig your own grave with it. Okay? Brilliant. Now, have a look at your right foot. We're going to see if we can keep the right foot in the position it's in. So we're going to wake up the right hip flexors, which we need to be super strong for our jump throughs. And then release the hands or the strap and place the hands either side of the body. Yes. So it doesn't take long for that right hip flexor to immediately turn on, that right quad, and the right foot really wants to travel closer towards the floor, but see if you can keep the height on the right foot, and if possible, actually see if you can bring it back a little bit more. Slow, steady breaths, doing really, really well. We're going to be holding this for 5, 4, keep that left foot active as well. 3, see if you can bring the right toes back a little more. 2, don't release the leg when I say 1. And 1, okay, the leg's still up, it's still up. Now, to next part of this posture, if you choose to do it, on your inhale, we're gonna hover the left leg off the mat a few inches. So now, left leg's hovering, right leg's extended, see if you can draw right toes back a little more, and then the hands are either side of the body. Shoulders relax. If there's any tension in your jaw, let it go, and then hold this for 5 deep breaths. 4, legs are strong, straight as you can get them. 3, 2, don't release the leg when I say 1, and 1, hold it here. Next part of this posture, if you choose to do it, on your inhale, knee to nose. Yes. So now we're curving the nose up towards the knee, the hands are either side of the body, palms facing one another, arms off the floor, and then see if you can work that right leg a little bit more. I do this posture all the time, but I think it's amazing, I think it's great. Deep breaths, hold it for 1, now your core is working. 2, 3, see if you can draw that leg back a little bit more. 4, and 5, now release the legs, okay. Woo. You should have really felt that in your tummy, that's what we're going for. All right, so give your legs a shake. We do have another leg to do, so let's get on to it. Right knee bent, right foot on the floor. Take the back of the left thigh, and then as you inhale, let's extend that left leg up towards the ceiling. I always say this, one side will probably be tighter, so don't be concerned if one side looks a lot different. My left leg is my tight leg, so it means that I cannot move as deeply as I did the other side. You might be different. But wherever you are, let's just really work those left toes back, get that leg as strong and as straight as you can, shoulders relaxed, right foot just resting, holding it here. Okay, and some people do jump through into seated with straight legs. It's not something I can, well, maybe I can do it, but I don't jump through with my legs straight. You can jump through with legs crossed and then straighten, or straight legs. So it is worth waking up the hamstrings, just in case that is something you end up preferring, something you end up doing. You do need to have quite flexible hamstrings to be able to jump through with straight legs. That's one thing I will say. Amazing. Just see if maybe, if appropriate, you can ease that leg back a little bit more. And then on your next inhale, right leg straight down the mat, right toes pull back, and then we've got both legs straight, both legs strong, ground down through the right calf. Keeping those shoulders drawing down towards the floor, don't let them roll up, back of the head down. Again, if you feel like you want a bit more, something extra, then you can take the hands to the calf, to the heel, making sure the upper body stays quite relaxed. We don't want to pull the arms out the sockets. We're holding this for a little while, haven't we? These hamstring stretches. Maybe I just secretly want a hamstring class. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, amazing. A few more moments. Right, here we go. Have a look at your left foot. Your left foot's going to stay where it is. We really need this left hip flexor to turn on. So release the hands of the strap, hands either side of the body, and then breathe. Deep, slow, steady breaths. Do not let that left foot fall to the floor. Keep the height. Maybe actually see if you can bring the toes higher above the face. Shoulders relaxed, jaw relaxed, and we'll hold it for 5, 4 deep, steady, even breaths through the nose. 3, keep those right toes pulling back, right calf grounds. 2, and 1, okay, staying here, having a rest, or if you choose, let's hover that right leg off the floor a few inches. Immediately feeling those tummy muscles turn on. Both legs strong, both legs straight, both toes pull back, and then see if you can ease left leg a little bit higher for 5, 4, I thought holding your legs like this would be so challenging. 3, 2, and 1. Last part of the posture. You inhale, nose to knee, hands parallel, palms face one another, and then see if you can work left toes even further back for 1. Pause working. 2, 3, 4, doing really well. And 5, relax, 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 legs down. Woo. Cat stretch, point both toes down the mat, arms overhead, lengthen, make yourself as long as you possibly can. And then exhale, hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. Whew. So we've done that primarily for the hip flexor and the core work. I know I come back to it a lot, but I just really love it. Just think it's great. Okay, so rocking here, really squeezing those thighs up in towards the tummy. Remember what we're trying to do later, make ourselves really small. Okay, then from here, just make your way up to seated. And we're gonna make our way into all fours. Cat-cow. You might be thinking, why are you doing cat-cow in a jump-through class? Well, I'll tell you why. Because when we come through our jump-throughs, we need to push in the hands, push into the hands and round the back. We need those shoulders to be like that, to really round the spine and get those hands acting as feet. And cat-cow is a great way to do it. So as we move through these, focus on the exhale, focus on pushing into the hands and getting that sort of lovely curve in the spine. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. As you inhale, lift the hips, lift the chest, look forward, a little back bend. Valuable stretching into the core and the tops of the legs. And then as you exhale, here's what we're focused on. Push into the hands, round the back. So tuck the hips under, chin to chest, arching the spine up towards the ceiling. So the inhale lifts chest, lifts hips, little back bend. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then exhale, round that back, chin to chest, press into the hands. Really press into the hands and arch the spine. So keep going. Use your own breath. The whole of the inhale lifts and then the whole of the exhale rounds. The more you push into the hands, the more valuable this is going to be. So feel that huge stretch, upper back, shoulders. And keep going. I mean, cat-cow is just a great posture anyway. Every single class, I find a reason to put cat-cow in. Okay, we're not going to be doing too many of these. So when you come to your next exhale, just hold the round in the spine. So everyone exhale, then hold. Now, push into the hands, round the back. Tuck the chin to the chest. Get the arms as straight as you can, and then hold this here just for a few more moments. Can be quite intense actually holding it. So a few more moments here. And then release, come back to a flat back. Lovely. Now from here, as you inhale, right leg back, toes tucked. Okay, so push into the right leg. Draw back through the right heel. A few more moments here. Just come back to the hamstrings, the calves, not holding it for very long. Also, any all four posture is really good at strengthening into the shoulders as well. Not allowing one another, so keeping strong across the upper back. And then exhale, right knee down, and then inhale, left leg back, toes tucked. Press through the left heel. Fingers nice and spread. we're looking straight down here, so there's a straight line from the crown of the head to the tailbone. And then exhale, just relax, left leg down. Okay, take child's pose, any variation you like. You can have knees and feet together. You can have feet together, knees apart, and sink the bum towards the heels. Either way, whatever you're doing, get the bum and the heels as close together as possible before you walk forward. So getting the bum and the heels close together, that's what creates the stretch in the lower back. And then just take a breather here. Just for a couple of moments, maybe giving your wrists a wriggle if that felt a bit heavy on the wrists. Okay, and then inhale, just come up into seated. All right, so we're gonna just add a little bit onto that. This is sort of takes into account the cat-cow movement. So what we're gonna do, just watch me for a moment. We're gonna come into all fours, come through that little sequence. This time we're gonna raise the leg off the floor and point the toes. Now, it doesn't have to come very high. We don't wanna hike that right hip up. We're gonna keep that right hip facing down. Okay, very simply, what we're gonna do is we're gonna inhale, then as we exhale, we're gonna swoop that right knee through. Now, from here, press into the hands, just like we were practicing round the back, and then draw your knee to your nose, okay? And then we're gonna come back, come forward again, really curve the spine, knee to nose. So as well as working into the shoulders, this also works into that hip flexor area that we were trying to work on. So come into all fours, fingers spread underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and then just take your right leg back, toes tucked. Just keep the right foot on the floor to begin with. Setting up our foundations, making sure that you feel stable here, that everything feels strong, that you don't feel too wonky. And then as you inhale, raise the right leg off the floor and point the toes. Okay? So, keeping that right hip facing down, do not need to hike that leg up too high. We're going to take an inhale, so inhale here, and then as you exhale, knee to nose. Swoop the right leg through, press into the hands, curve, knee to nose. Okay, and then take that leg back. And then inhale, come through, knee to nose, press into the hands, round the spine. And then exhale, take that leg back. A few more. Inhale, knee to nose, press into the hands, round the back, arch the spine, right hip flexors working. Then take that leg back. Inhale, knee to nose, again, squeeze in that leg through, press into the hands. And then exhale, take that leg back. One more, inhale, knee to nose, round the back, press into the hands, feel the work in the hip flexors, press, press, press. And then exhale, take that leg back, and then bring that leg down. Okay. Woo, it's hard work. Well done. We can do the other side. I just want to let you know my radiator's on again. I swear to God, I live with my granddad. I'm going to kill him. If you know me, honestly, you know I live with my granddad. The radiator is so hot. I'm going to have to make sure. I'm pretty sure I asked him to turn it off. I'm just going to throw that out there. So other side. So come into all fours. Let's step that left leg back, toes tucked. All right, little calf and hamstring stretch. And then from here, raise that left leg off the ground and point the toes. Keep that left hip down, not hiking it up too much. Here we go, team. We can do this. Right, so think about that lovely movement we done in cat-cow. So as you inhale, swoop the knee through, knee to nose, round the back, press into the hands, shoulders strong. And then exhale, take that leg back. Inhale, swoop it through, knee to nose, press into the hands, hip flexors working. And then exhale, take that leg back, controlled movements. Inhale, knee to nose, push into the hands. Exhale, back. Inhale, knee to nose, pressing into the hands, swoop it through, squeeze the leg. And then take that leg back. Last one, inhale, knee to nose, hold it. Squeeze in, the thigh in towards the tummy, pressing into the hands, arching the spine. And then take that leg back. And then bring that leg down. All right, fantastic. Come into child's pose, whichever version you're working with. This time, maybe take the arms either side of the body, let the shoulders relax and give your wrists a wriggle. And have a breather. Very hard postures, but very good for what we're trying to do. Okay. And then when you're ready, make your way up into seated. So, I can feel that in my arms. So definitely trying to work with pressing into the hands as much as possible, super important, and rounding the back, combined with really squeezing the knee as much as possible in towards the body. These are our two things we're focusing on. That posture is really good prep for jump throughs. We're also going to do some more good prep. So Dandasana and Ashtanga posture. Looks like it should be easy, but actually is a killer. Very good for your posture, very good for your core and your hip flexors. So sit tall with your legs straight out in front of you. So the legs are straight, the toes pull back, so we're quite strong in the feet, and then we're grounding down through the heels. Hands come either side of the hips. Now if you just look at me for a second, we want to get away from doing like this, all right? So we want to move forward on the sit bones, draw the tummy in, and already that creates the lift in the spine. So tummy in, move forward on the sit bones, hands either side of the hips, and roll your shoulders back and down the spine, elbows spinning, chin to chest. And breathe. So if this posture feels easy, I'm going to tell you right now, you're probably going a little bit wonky somewhere. So this posture shouldn't feel easy. This posture should feel strong. You should feel that work in the tops of the legs. Your legs may even be shaking. You should feel that work in the core. Really important, you know, for our core to be working to protect the spine for good posture. And then hold it here, deep, steady breathing. If you feel like you're leaning back, keep moving forward on your sit bones. Keep pressing down through the heels. Holding it here. Make sure those hands are right by the hips, not too far back. And then exhale, just release the tension, okay? Hard to sit up straight, isn't it? These muscles get really weak just because of the way we sit usually. So actually sitting unsupported and making sure your spine is nice and straight can be a real challenge. Now, we're going to keep the tension in that posture, and we're going to see if we can lift a leg off the floor. Very important, again, to get those hip flexors working. So come back to Dandasana, legs straight, toes pull back, move forward on your sit bones, lift through the core, get the spine nice and long. Hands either side of the hips. Now, you can come up onto fists, but I'm going to tell you something. Do not lift your bum off the floor in this. If you watch me just for a second, if I lift my bum off the floor, I can lift my leg that high, okay? It's cheating a little bit. So keep your bum down, so all of the effort comes from the hip flexor, not the elevation that we sort of like artificially create. So keep the bum down, but you can come onto your fists if you need a bit of help keeping the spine long. So hands either side of the hips or fists, legs straight, move forward. Try not to lean back as you inhale, lift the right leg up off the floor. Now, you might be looking at your right leg thinking, what? Why isn't it lifting? Totally normal. This is hard. It may only lift a little bit. Hold it here, deep breaths. And then exhale, lower. Fabulous. Now inhale, sit up nice and tall, lift that left leg up off the floor. Again, don't worry how far it lifts. All we're trying to do is feel that work in the top of the leg. And then exhale, lower. Amazing. Again, inhale, right leg lifts. Don't lean back, so keep moving forward. Keep the leg strong. Can feel like cramp this. Probably isn't cramp though. This is probably just the muscle working. And then exhale, lower, last one, inhale, lift that left leg. Doing really well, deep, slow breaths. And then exhale, lower. Fabulous. Come onto your backs. Take a cat stretch, point the toes down the mat, arms overhead and lengthen. So we were just contracting the muscles in the tops of the legs, and now we're stretching them back out. So always working on that strength and flexibility, creating a balance. And then just hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side and make circles. Okay, inhale up. So, this next posture, honestly, is one of my favourite postures in the world. Works the same areas, just slightly different. Now, I'm going to show you, actually we're going to do it together. We're going to do it together. So take your legs wide. Now don't take them too wide, literally just take them maybe a little bit wider than the mat. We're not coming into any groin stuff here. And then once your legs are wide-ish, point the toes. Okay, so if you've done this before, I can just see your faces even though I can't, thinking, no, Ashleigh, we're doing it. Now, frame the right thigh with the fingertips. This is step number one. In this posture, you will need to lean back. That's going to be important. To get the leg off the floor, you're going to have to lean back, but just make sure you keep the spine straight. So as you lean back, the core's working to keep that lift through the spine. We're not curving the back. So you've leant back, your fingertips frame the right thigh, both feet are pointed, and then as you inhale, we're just going to start pulsing that leg. Yes, we are. So this is, again, one of those postures that immediately, one of those things that immediately works that right thigh. So you can also take the hands into prayer if you want. Just keep that right leg pulsing, keep the spine long. We're just going to keep doing this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, yes, amazing. You can also give that leg a little rub if that helps, because honestly, it's a bit much, isn't it? So we'll do the other side. Legs wide-ish. Point both feet. Frame the left thigh with the fingertips and lean back, but don't curve. So nice straight backs, lean back. And then, as you inhale, here we go. Pick the left foot up off the floor, start pulsing that leg. Again, with control, just keep going. Work in the tops of the legs now, the hip flexor, and maybe take your hands into prayer if you want to make it a little bit more challenging for 5, 4, 3, doing really well, 2, and 1. Oh, okay, relax, amazing. Come back onto your backs, take a cat stretch, point both legs down the mat, arms overhead, lengthen. And then exhale, hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side. So both of those postures worked the same muscles, just slightly different variations. Okay, and then come up seated. L-sits. I love the jump through class. So this is a class I teach regularly, so you may have actually done it with me before, but it's just strength after strength after strength after strength. I really put no downtime in. So it's just like one hard posture after the other, but jump throughs are hard. So L-sits. Now, there's a couple of ways to do them. I mean, they're not yoga specific, so you may have even done them before. Now, one way that people do them is they put their hands right by their hips and then they just pick up off the floor. Now, if that is something you do and you're comfortable with it, go ahead and do that. Now, I actually have a little bit of technique for L-sits, but it does require a little bit of hamstring flexibility, so I'm going to show you how I get into it. Then I'm going to go through how I get into it, and if you're looking at it and you just think absolutely not, then you can take the hands by the hips and you can do it your way, okay? Now, with L-sits, a lot of people have their hands by their hips, but I actually think that's really difficult. I prefer to have my hands actually sort of either side of my knees, and the reason being is I can lean forward and really push from the shoulders to pick myself up. With my hands back by my hips, it's just like there's not enough room for me to do it. So if you can, it's easier if you can get your belly on your thighs. Now I do understand that this requires a bit of hamstring flexibility, which is one of the reasons why we were working our hamstrings earlier. But if you can get your belly on your thighs and work the toes back and keep the legs together, that's going to be really useful. And then you can place the hands either side of the knees to lift you up. If that's not working, hands by hips. Another thing that you need to do with your L-sits is to get your legs strong. Legs together, engaged. See, I engage my legs so much that my heels come off the floor. This just means that the legs are like one big strong thing that they're not going to flop about as you try and lift. So legs together, really work the toes back, squeeze the quads, everything's nice and strong. Your heels may have lifted. Now if you are using your hands either side of your hips, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, you can do it my way. Lean forward, get your belly as close to your thighs as possible. Hands either side of the knees. Now push from the shoulders as you inhale, lift, and hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Down. All right, I'm sweating, well done. So if nothing happened, don't worry. Absolutely fine, it takes a while. So we're going to do that again. So if that last time it didn't work for you, you can try a different hand positioning maybe try and bring your hands forward a little bit. So setting the posture up, legs are super strong, quads are working, hip flexors are working, hands either side of the body, wherever your preferred placement is, then push from the shoulders as you inhale, lift. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Down. That was a squeal from me. Lovely. Come on to your backs, take a cat stretch. Point both feet down the mat, arms overhead, lengthen. And then exhale, hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side. So another thing you can do is put your hands on blocks. In those L-sits might be helpful while you're practicing. And then make your way up to seated. Feel like we've got the shoulders ready. So that position there, those L-sits, that's how we end our jump through. So you either jump from downward dog into the L-sit position, lower, you're ready, or you jump from downward dog, you've got your legs crossed, and then you straighten the legs into the L-sit and then drop. So actually being able to do the L-sit and hold yourself up off the floor, if you managed it, is a really promising sign that potentially you're ready for the jump throughs. If not, no worries, keep practicing. So the next thing we're going to do, and the last thing maybe before we do some drills, is boat, obviously. Boat, super important. Look how small I am, look how tiny I am. We've got to make ourselves really small, like this here, that I'm doing now. I'm doing in the jump through, but instead my hands will be on the floor. So we're going to come through boat slowly. So, here we go. Make yourselves teeny tiny. Hold on to your legs, hug your thighs in towards the body. We use our hands to help us to begin with. So you can, for some reason I just always cross the feet, but actually we're going to straighten them anyway, so you might not want to do that. Doesn't matter, just roll back, pick the feet up off the floor. This isn't challenging enough, to be fair, because it's really hard to find that center point, or like that gravity, center point of gravity, you know what I mean. It's hard to find that. We're balancing on our tailbone. At the moment we're using the hands to squeeze the legs in towards the body, keep the legs together. Okay, now we're going to take the hands away. We're going to just use the adductors and the hip flexors and the core. So from here, without rocking back hopefully, just release your hands and place your hands sort of either side of the body, palms facing one another. And this is the work. So squeeze your legs in towards your body and feel that work in the core. Keep your legs together and breathe. So really, Again, if you're struggling with this, it just means you need a bit more practice, but if you're coping okay with it, if you're still managing to keep your legs squeezing towards your body, a very promising sign that these jump throughs might be coming. Okay, now from here, we're gonna just take the shins parallel. Ooh, okay. And then we're gonna really see if we can draw the thighs in towards the belly. My legs are shaking. All right, holding it here. And then last step, straighten the legs, boat. Oh my God, I haven't done boat for a while, which is really bad. Okay, so imagine there's a piece of string from the middle of your chest that's lifting your chest. Look at your toes, hold it here for 5. Try not to lean back. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release, relax. Whew. Okay, lovely. So, we're going to do some boat sets. So with this, if you just look at me, this is very simple. What we're going to do is we're going to come into our teeny tiny ball. We're going to inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, cross the legs, suck them in. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, cross and suck. Yes, right, let's do it, nearly there. So, come into your little ball. Pick your feet up off the floor. Straighten the arms and just come straight up into boat. Inhale, boat. Exhale, cross and pull the legs in. Inhale, boat. Exhale, cross, suck those legs in with control. Inhale, boat. Exhale, cross, pull the legs in. Inhale, boat. Exhale, cross, suck the legs in. Inhale, boat. Exhale, suck in. 2 more. Inhale, boat. Exhale, cross in. Last one. Inhale, boat. Exhale, cross in. Relax, relax. Maybe take a cat stretch if you want to take a cat stretch. Hug your knees in if you want to do that, or just you can have a drink. Or you can just do that. All right. So, come up to seated. We're going to do 3 things now before having a go at our jump throughs. The first thing is some downward dog jumps. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to come into a downward dog. Just going to set it up because we haven't really done downward dog today. We're going to come into downward dog. We're going to take the weight forward. We're going to jump the feet up off the floor. We're going to see if we can... And then we're going to land the feet exactly where we took off from. So if you just watch me for a second. I'm not great at these, so we're all practicing together. But this is what we're going to do. I can't promise that this is the best example of what we're going to do. But we're going to come into downward dog. We'll just set the downward dog up. Then, it's really important in all of these, especially the jump throughs, that you bring the weight forward into your hands. So the shoulders are right over the wrists. Little bend, you can actually tiptoe the feet forward a little bit if that's going to be helpful. Little bend in the knee, and then lift. And then lower. That was pretty good actually for me. Okay, so we're not doing anything with feet, we're just going to jump up and jump down. Let's do it. I have to do these with you, they're so knackering. So come into all fours, make your way into downward dog. Fingers spread, tuck the toes, hips up and back, feet hip with a bottom parallel. They're fun though. Now, we've worked the hamstrings, so hopefully this should be fine. Now, from here, bring the weight forward. Bring the shoulders over the wrists, really important. Maybe tiptoe your feet forward, make the posture a little bit shorter. But you need to get all the weight in the arms. Now let's do it. Bend the knees, inhale, jump. And then exhale, land where you took off. Just keep doing this. Jump, land. Jump, land. Jump, land. Do 2 more. You just do 2 more. It's alright, that's hard, okay? So keep doing it, I'm there with you in spirit. So get the shoulders over the wrists. That's really important. Little hop, then jump back. I said 2 more, but keep doing it, just do a couple more. Right there with you. All right, and then after this next one, just stop doing it and come down onto your knees. Fab. Okay, lovely. So, knackering. What we're trying to do is slow it down a little bit. So when we jump through, it's exactly the same. Shoulders over the wrists, jump up, except instead of landing, we make ourselves into that tiny ball, and then we swoop the body through the arms. Okay, so the next little thing we're going to do is some, I don't think they're as knackering, little tip. Watch me from downward dog. Again, this is just really so we understand that we need the weight in the shoulders. We're very simply going to inhale, shift the weight forward, come onto our tiptoes. Now look at me. All the weight is in my arms. My hands act as feet. I'm on the very tops of my tiptoes. That's all shoulders. And then exhale, we go back. Inhale, come forward, tiptoes, and then exhale, we come back. I'm laughing because it's so hard. Let's do it together. So come into downward dog. You're amazing. You're gonna, honestly, you're all gonna do this. Maybe not today, but you will. So come into downward dog. Right, feet hip width apart, fingers spread. Breaths in. Just take a couple of breaths. I feel like I need a couple of breaths. Okay, we're gonna do these tiptoe shifts. So, as you inhale, weight comes forward, all the way into the hands, the shoulders. Shoulders come over wrists, you're on your tiptoes, hold it. Then exhale, come back. Inhale forward, and then exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. 2 more. Inhale forward. Exhale back. I'm going to be so built after this. Inhale forward. And then exhale back, and then come down onto your knees now. At this point, maybe take a child's pose, maybe give your wrists a wriggle, or you can just do some wrist circles, or sort of like clench and unclench your fists. So jump through downward dogs, they are a little bit wristy. This will probably feel a little bit wristy. Takes a bit of time for that to become less so. So taking a couple of deep breaths, giving your wrists a wriggle. Right, and then make your way back up into seated. The last thing I want to do is a bit complicated before the jump through. So this is another drill, and it is very good. So we're going to see if we can walk the feet forward and then bring the feet back. The thing with this is that when you come and jump through, even if you're not jumping all the way through, you want to land on the tops of your feet, okay? So this walk through involves us sort of like gently walking on the tops of our feet forward so we can get an idea of how we want the legs to land. The thing is if you do not have the weight in your arms and your shoulders, this is going to feel very uncomfortable. So it's really important that you are not overloading the weight into the tops of the feet. So I'll show you what it looks like, and it should make sense. So if you watch me for a second, downward dog. Now I'm going to bring the weight forward. This is a key thing, like a running theme. The weight comes forward, shoulders over wrists. Now, here's what I'm going to do. Top of my foot, top of my foot, top of my foot, so we're in this squeezed position with the legs together, and then back, straight back, into downward dog. So just watch that again. Weight comes forward, top of the foot, top of the foot, top of the foot, and then straight back into downward dog. So obviously, if you're not bringing the shoulders forward, and you're coming like here, you're just gonna really crunch down into the top of your foot and hurt your ankle. So if this is hurting your feet, sit this one out, but if it is, see if you can get the weight in the shoulders, loading down into the tops of the feet. Let's give it a go. So come into downward dog. I know what I mean. So Bring the weight forward. Shoulders over wrists. Hands are strong. Arms are strong. There is no weight in your feet. And then top of the foot, top of the foot, top of the foot. Back to dog. Again, weight forward. Shoulders over wrists. Top of the foot, top of the foot, top of the foot. Back to dog. Once more. Weight comes forward. Top of the foot, top of the foot, top of the foot, and then back to dog. And then come down onto your knees. Come into child's pose and have a rest. Jump throughs, eh? We haven't even done the jump throughs yet. Right, here we go. Come up to seated. So, jumping through combines everything we worked on. The shoulders are strong. Shoulders over wrists. Press into the hands, your hands act as feet. The body. As you jump through, you need to pull your legs in. Squeeze the legs in just like we were doing in those boat positions. The cat-cows with the knee to the nose stuff. Alright? It's a combination of those things. I would say tiptoe your feet forward ever so slightly to give you a shorter distance to travel. Really press into the hands though. This was the thing that changed it for me. As soon as I tried to jump through, my elbows like bent. Your arms have to be straight. You have to push, okay? We'll give this a go. Another thing that's really helpful is if people look forward instead of like looking straight down, look where you want to land. So let's give this a go. I can show you what it looks like first, but it's a lot of pressure. Shall I show you what it looks like? Okay, so we're in downward dog. The weight comes forward, shoulders over wrists. Maybe tiptoe your feet forward. Another thing, your hands should be as wide as the mat. Okay, just for like you've got to get your body through, so don't take your arms too short. So my arms are about as wide as the mat here. Weight comes forward, I'm looking forward, little hop, push into, I couldn't do it, pressure. Push into the hands, okay? Straighten the legs and down. All right, let's give it a go. So, downward dog. It's a shame I can't see you because this bit's always really fun. Right, go into downward dog. So, here we go. Oh, I'll just do this one first. So take the weight forward, shoulders over wrists. Maybe tiptoe the feet forward. So get the arms straight, get the arms strong, little hop, cross the knees, push into the hands, jump through, straighten the legs. This is more of a collaborative class. Okay, so keep going. Another thing is if you want to watch me, if you're not jumping through, this is how you want to land. Same things, weight forward, whatever. Jump, land on the tops of your feet, okay? Keep going. Have a couple more goes while I have a little lighter. Okay, so keep going. Arms straight, shoulders over wrists. Maybe tiptoe the feet forward. Little hop. Eye across the legs, suck the legs in. You get the legs through the arms, right? Amazing. Now another thing is blocks. If you have blocks, this is a laugh. So, if you are jumping through with blocks, be prepared to literally fly. So you've got to be quite careful. I'm a little bit worried, but what you would do is you would put the blocks underneath your hands. Oh, well, honestly, you've got to be careful when you do this because it's the same, but you go flying. So little hop, and you come through. Wasn't the best example. So that's something you can practice, just so that you can get a feel for where your legs are supposed to be going. There we go. Right, I feel like this has been fun. This has been great. So if these aren't happening, do not worry, like it's not a big deal, it's a transition. But if you take away anything from this, be it the push into the arms and round the back, the shoulder thing, because as soon as people jump, their arms tend to clap. So there's a lot of upper body stuff going on. So you can keep going, or you can just relax like me now. I'm done. So come on to your backs. Oh, right. Don't want to complain, but I have also been doing this in like 50-degree heat, so also complaining. It's gonna hit, I'm gonna just relax. So arm straight, leg straight. We're just gonna come straight into Shavasana, honestly. I've overrun as per usual. A couple of deep breaths, letting your breath come back to normal. And letting everything just relax. So we worked super hard today. We've done so much stuff with the hip flexors, core and shoulders. Everything we've done today is about getting strong. Jump throughs are our strength, you know. It's a difficult transition to do, but like I said, it's not the be all and end all if it's not happening. It's not a posture, it's just a in-between movement. And a lot of it, I think, also is mental. It's weird. Your head doesn't really know what's going on. Your head is thinking, I need to get my body through my legs, what? So you may have found when you were practicing it that you tend to stand up. It happens all the time. Like people go to jump through and they end up on their feet and they're like, what? How did that happen? But the body doesn't know what's going on. You're telling it to land on the tops of the feet. It's thinking, all right, you want the feet on the floor, I'm becoming standing. So just roll with it, just, you know, whatever. Okay, so you can stay in Shavasana for as long as you want, or you can just come out now by making some movements with your fingers and toes, taking a cat stretch, hugging your knees into your chest, and just making your way out. All right. I feel like we worked so hard. I feel like I worked so hard. I'm such a princess. So like when I teach the classes, especially in a jump through class, I'm watching other people, so I don't do it myself. So I got a taste of my own medicine. But it's been lovely having you. I hope you've enjoyed it. Lots of strong work. Keep coming back to these drills. They're difficult, but they are so valuable, especially those last three we done from downward dog, the jumps, the tiptoe shifts, and the walk-throughs. Those things, definitely do those. Boat, the little boat sets we done, absolutely fantastic. Dandasana, the leg lifts, the leg pulses, all of them are gonna help you. So keep practicing. If you are working on your jump throughs with blocks, just be careful because you will go flying. All right, I'm off ski. All right, see you later. Have a nice weekend. Bye.